really common ones, that most people think of separately.
Right.
But what if they're actually working together, like a dangerous alliance inside your body? One sort of silently making the other worse, creating this risk that's, well, much bigger than either one on its own.
It's a scary thought, and it affects millions.
Exactly. We're talking about conditions that are incredibly widespread, yet, how deeply they're connected often gets overlooked.
It does.
So today, we're doing a deep dive. We're really exploring the intimate and potentially dangerous link between two very common conditions: obesity and hypertension.
Blood pressure, yeah.
Our mission here is to unpack some key insights from this really illuminating article. It's called Obesity and Hypertension: The Dangerous Link, by Dr. Mohammed Yusuf Khorra. He's an internal medicine specialist.
A solid source.
Definitely. We want to figure out why these two are so intertwined and, importantly, what that actually means for your health.
And yeah, this isn't just about skimming the surface, like reading definitions. We're aiming to go deeper, peel back the layers, and really look at the complex physiological and metabolic stuff that ties them together.
Right.
The goal is to give you a clearer, maybe more nuanced picture of just how profound this relationship is, hopefully making you feel better informed, more empowered.
Okay, let's get right into it then. The basic fact, the fundamental truth here is that there's this incredibly strong, well-established link between carrying excess body weight and having high blood pressure.
It's almost like one directly feeds the other.
Yeah, and just so we're all clear on the terms, let's quickly nail those down based on our source.
Good idea.
So, obesity defined as an abnormal or excessive buildup of body fat that genuinely poses a risk to health, usually measured using BMI, body mass index.
Right, the calculation.
And a BMI of 30 or higher generally puts you in the obese category. Then there's hypertension, which most people know as high blood pressure. It's a condition where the force of your blood pushing against your artery walls over the long term is consistently high enough that it could cause serious health problems.
And the threshold for that diagnosis has shifted a bit over the years.
It has. The current medical thinking generally considers a reading of 130 over 80 millimilli Hg or higher to be hypertensive.
What's really striking here, though, is that this link, it isn't just correlation. It's not just two things happening at the same time.
Yeah.
It's this dynamic, very complex interplay of physiological and metabolic changes happening inside the body.
So the excess weight is actively causing the high blood pressure.
In many cases, yes. It's actively driving its development through a whole series of internal mechanisms we should get into.
Wow.
And just to put a number on how big this connection is,
Yeah.
our source estimates that excess weight accounts for, get this, a staggering 65 to 75% of the risk for essential hypertension.
65 to 75%.
And essential hypertension is the most common kind, the type without one single obvious underlying cause,
Yeah.
often linked to lifestyle.
That's huge.
It really is. Think about that. Potentially up to 3/4 of the risk for the most common type of high blood pressure could be linked back to weight.
That's a massive factor. It really highlights why we need to understand this.
Absolutely.
But it's no wonder then that this combination is so frequent in medicine that they actually use the term obesity-induced hypertension.
Exactly. It's widely used.
It literally spells it out. For many people, obesity isn't just like a contributing factor, it's the main driver, the central cause of their high blood pressure.
Precisely.
Okay, so if they're that tightly linked, the big question is, how? How does carrying extra weight actually make your blood pressure go up?
Right. The mechanisms.
Our source digs into several really interesting and kind of complex ways the body responds. It seems like a cascade of changes.
It is. It's definitely not just one switch flipping. It's a series of interconnected responses. And as we walk through these, maybe think about how each piece fits into this intricate puzzle inside the body.
Okay. Where do we start?
Well, first, let's talk about increased blood volume and cardiac output.
Okay.
Think about your circulatory system, like a network of pipes, right? If you have a larger body mass, like with obesity, your body just needs more blood, a greater volume to get oxygen and nutrients out to all that extra tissue.
Makes sense. More tissue, more supply needed.
Exactly. So this increased volume of blood automatically puts more pressure on the walls of those pipes, your arteries.
Okay.
And at the same time, your heart, which is the pump, has to work harder to push this larger amount of blood around.
Right.
That increased effort, that higher cardiac output, directly raises your blood pressure. It's like trying to force more water through the same garden hose.
The pressure inside just goes up. Does that constant extra work affect the heart itself over time?
Oh, absolutely. That sustained extra load can lead to changes in the heart muscle, like thickening, making it less efficient in the long run, which just makes the problem worse.
Okay, so that's blood volume. What's next?
Next up is the activation of the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. It's usually just called RAAS.
RAAS. Okay, sounds complex.
It is a bit complex, yeah. It's basically a hormonal system that acts like your body's main controller for fluid balance and blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
Now, you probably think of fat as just storing energy, right?
Mostly, yeah.
But what's really fascinating, maybe even mind-blowing, is that fat tissue, or adipose tissue, is actually an active organ. It produces hormones and other substances.
An endocrine organ, like the thyroid or pancreas?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
And in obesity, this RAAS system tends to get overactivated. It's like it's stuck on high alert.
And what does that do?
Well, it sends signals telling your kidneys to hold on to more sodium and water.
Which increases fluid volume, like we just talked about.
Exactly. And it also causes your blood vessels to constrict, to tighten up. Both of those things, holding onto fluid and tightening vessels, significantly push blood pressure up.
Wow. It's incredible that fat tissue itself is sending those signals. Does its active role stop there? Or does it affect other things, like how we handle sugar?
Oh, it definitely connects to that, too.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the third mechanism, insulin resistance and hyperinsulinemia.
Okay. Insulin.
Yeah. Obesity is a major cause of insulin resistance. That means your body cells don't respond properly to the hormone insulin, which normally helps them take up glucose or sugar from the blood.
So the key doesn't fit the lock anymore.
Kind of. And to compensate, your pancreas goes into overdrive, churning out more and more insulin. This leads to abnormally high levels of insulin in your blood. That's called hyperinsulinemia.
Okay, high insulin levels, how does that raise blood pressure?
It seems to have a couple of effects. These high insulin levels can actually encourage the kidneys to retain sodium. Again, holding on to salt and water.
There's that sodium retention again.
Yep. And high insulin also seems to increase the activity of your sympathetic nervous system. Both actions tend to push blood pressure higher.
Ah, okay, so that leads us right into the next one, doesn't it? The sympathetic nervous system.
It does indeed. Number 4 is increased sympathetic nervous system, SNS activity.
The fight or flight system.
That's the one. You know that feeling, the jolt, the racing heart when you're startled or stressed?
Yep.
That's your SNS kicking in. It increases your heart rate, constricts blood vessels, gets you ready for action.
Right.
Well, in many individuals with obesity, this system seems to be chronically overactive. It's like the body is stuck in this low-grade state of alarm even when resting.
Constantly on edge.
Pretty much. And this persistent overactivity is a major contributor to sustained high blood pressure or hypertension.
So it's not just a temporary stress response, but a long-term state. That sounds exhausting for the body. Does this chronic alert state hit other areas too?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It contributes to overall cardiovascular strain, can impact metabolism, but its direct effect on tightening blood vessels and increasing heart rate makes it a primary driver for hypertension.
Okay. What else is going on?
Well, related to that chronic state, we have inflammation and oxidative stress.
Inflammation. You hear a lot about that.
You do. Obesity is often described as a state of chronic low-grade inflammation throughout the body. The adipose tissue itself releases these inflammatory substances.
The active fat tissue again?
Exactly. And these substances can damage the endothelium. That's the delicate inner lining of your blood vessels.
Okay.
When that lining gets impaired, your blood vessels lose some of their ability to relax and widen properly. They become stiffer.
Like those rescue pipes you mentioned earlier.
Precisely. If they can't relax and expand easily, the pressure inside increases. Add to that, there's often elevated oxidative stress, basically an imbalance between damaging free radicals and the body's antioxidant defenses.
Yeah.
This also contributes to that endothelial dysfunction, making the blood vessel problem worse.
So the vessel lining takes a double hit from inflammation and oxidative stress, making it harder for blood to flow smoothly. Is there anything else?
There's one more, and it's maybe a bit surprising because it's quite physical.
Physical?
Yeah. The sixth mechanism is the physical compression of the kidneys.
Wait, the fat actually squeezes the kidneys?
It can, yes. Particularly visceral fat, that's the deep belly fat that surrounds your internal organs.
Right.
If there's enough accumulation, it can literally put pressure on the kidneys.
And what does that compression do?
It can impair their normal function, makes them less efficient at filtering waste and, crucially, regulating fluids. This can lead to, guess what?
More sodium and water retention.
You got it. Which, as we've seen, directly contributes to higher blood pressure.
Wow. Okay, when you lay them all out, the increased blood volume, the RAAS activation, insulin resistance, the overactive nervous and physical kidney compression.
Yeah.
It's incredibly clear how excess weight isn't just sitting there. It's actively driving hypertension through so many different pathways.
It really is a complex, interconnected cascade.
Looking at those 6, which one do you think people are generally least aware of? Or maybe the most surprising connection?
That's a good question. I suspect the idea of fat tissue being an active endocrine organ is often overlooked.
Yeah, thinking of it as just storage.
Right. People don't necessarily realize it's pumping out hormones that directly mess with blood pressure systems like RAAS or influencing insulin sensitivity. And maybe the physical compression of the kidneys that direct squeeze is also pretty surprising for many.
Definitely. Okay, so we've unpacked the how, these complex and frankly dangerous mechanisms. What does this all mean for us? Is there good news here?
There absolutely is, and our source really highlights this because the link between obesity and hypertension is so strong, it also points towards a really powerful intervention.
Which is?
Weight loss. It's hands down one of the most effective non-drug treatments for high blood pressure.
So tackling the weight can directly tackle the blood pressure.
Exactly, which naturally leads to the question, just how effective is it? How much weight loss does it take?
Yeah, is it like you have to lose a huge amount?
No, and that's the really encouraging part. The evidence shows that even modest weight loss, we're talking just 5% to 10% of your starting body weight, can lead to a significant reduction in blood pressure.
5 to 10%. That sounds achievable for many people.
It is. It puts a tangible goal within reach. It's not necessarily about dramatic transformations, but about sustainable changes that can yield truly significant health benefits, hitting these complex issues we've discussed.
And it's fascinating, right? Because losing weight presumably starts to reverse many of those very mechanisms we just spent time unraveling.
That's precisely what happens. It's like unwinding the process.
How so?
Well, when weight comes off, the whole system starts to recalibrate. You generally see a decrease in blood volume and cardiac output. The heart doesn't have to work quite so hard.
Okay.
There's usually a noticeable reduction in that overactivation of the RAK system and the sympathetic nervous system activity. The body comes down from that high alert state.
Right.
Insulin sensitivity tends to improve quite dramatically, so cells respond better. The pancreas doesn't have to produce as much excess insulin.
And the inflammation.
That decreases too. The chronic low-grade inflammation lessens, which helps the blood vessels, that endothelium, regain some flexibility and function better.
So it addresses nearly all those pathways we talked about.
It really targets the root causes in obesity-induced hypertension.
And the practical outcome for someone managing their blood pressure could be quite significant, couldn't it?
Absolutely huge. For many people, achieving even that modest 5–10% weight loss can mean they need less blood pressure medication.
Or potentially.
Or in some really positive cases, they might be able to eliminate the need for antihypertensive meds altogether, managing their blood pressure through lifestyle alone. That's a massive win for long-term health, for quality of life.
Definitely. So wrapping this up, what we've explored today really just underscores this incredibly profound relationship between obesity and hypertension.
It's undeniable.
It's clear that carrying excess weight isn't passive. It triggers this complex cascade of physiological changes inside your body that directly lead to higher blood pressure. And that significantly bumps up the risk for really serious problems down the line, like heart attack and stroke.
It's a major public health issue, impacting so many. But often the direct cause and effect, those mechanisms we discussed, aren't fully appreciated.
Yeah.
So if we come out, connecting this to the bigger picture, really understanding these specific physiological links highlights just how vital maintaining a healthy weight is.
Yes.
It's truly a cornerstone of good cardiovascular health.
Absolutely.
And maybe this leaves you, the listener, with an important question to think about. Now that you've heard about these specific ways obesity drives hypertension, the hormones, the nerves, the inflammation, even the physical pressure, how might knowing these details change your perspective on your overall health and perhaps the choices you make for your own well-being, especially when thinking about sustainable, healthier habits?
It's a great question to ponder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the dangerous but also manageable link between obesity and hypertension. We really hope you feel not just more informed, but genuinely empowered by this knowledge.